What's up, guys? Merry Christmas. Spending the holidays on the white sandy beach. It's the closest thing the Philippines has to snow, so I figured no better place to come than Panglao, Bohol, where the beaches are absolutely beautiful. One of the huge pros of living in the Philippines, if you're in Cebu City or Dumaguete or even Manila, they have an airport here, they have a ferry port here. It's easy to get to Panglao, Bohol and enjoy some beach time. So hope you guys are having a great holiday season. I wanted to circle back and revisit a video that I recently made. So my brother and I just did some traveling. We spent some time in Thailand, we spent some time in Vietnam, but we didn't spend a lot of time. And we only went to a few areas. We went to Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and Pai. So a lot of the things that I talked about in that video, it's a small sample size. And I did a little comparing of my thoughts, sort of my first impression. That's really all the video was, but I appreciate the feedback. I definitely stirred the pot a little bit, particularly when I talked about the cost of living or the cost of things that we noticed. So after about 9 days in the Philippines, we went to Bangkok, then we went to Hanoi, Vietnam, then we went back to Thailand, and it ended up in Chiang Mai and Pai. And we noticed, just from that small sample size, certain things were more expensive than the places that we went to and the things that we did in the Philippines. For people that have lived in all of these countries, they felt quite strongly about it being way cheaper. And in Vietnam, it's even cheaper. What I wanted to really get at is, if you're looking into these places as potential places to live, there are so many variables that play into the cost of living. I just had a conversation with a friend of mine who lives in Valencia, and he just moved to Valencia from Thailand. And he lived in Thailand for several years. And what he said was, it just depends on where you live, if you're there as a traveling tourist, if you're there long-term, full-time. But at the end of the day, guys, whether you live in the Philippines, Thailand, or Vietnam, the point is, it's inexpensive to live in all three of those countries. I don't think it's a huge factor in determining where you decide to live. I think there are other much bigger, more significant factors that should play in and do play into people's decisions to live in one of those countries, or plays into their ultimate happiness if they try a certain city. Like this gentleman, he lived in Thailand for several years, and for him, he got tired of the language barrier, and being a single guy, he got tired of the challenges to meet a genuine partner there. I asked him to grade a few things out of 10, just to give you a little bit of an idea from someone that lived there for a while and now lives in the Philippines. I asked him about dating and finding a girlfriend in Thailand. He gave Thailand a 0, and then he bumped it up to a 0.5. So basically brutal, terrible. He said it was an awful time trying to meet someone. He said the number of bad eggs in Thailand is like 90 to 95%. And he said in the Philippines, the number of bad eggs is about 20%. So that's the words he used, that's the numbers he gave me. But he said there's a significant difference between the two countries. And that alone was a huge factor for him to move to the Philippines, try it out, and for him to tell me that he's probably going to stay in the Philippines. The other thing I asked him about is food. He said the food in Thailand is 10 out of 10, absolutely loved it. And he said he hates the food in the Philippines, except for a few options that he found living in Valencia and having access to some more restaurants. And he said the same could be true for Manila, Cebu, and other bigger cities. But overall, he does struggle with the food in the Philippines. But because the dating is so much better, that was enough for him to overcome any issues with the food. I asked him about cost of living again. He said it's just marginal, and he said it's not enough. Some things are cheaper here, some things are cheaper there. And then I asked him about another huge factor in him wanting to move to the Philippines, and he did say language. It impacted him, he said, quite a bit. He said just the day-to-day stuff of interacting with people as he was going about his day, going into a store, restaurant, taxi, whatever it was, he just said it was always a thing that slowed things down, that limited his ability to, interact, to build relationships, to feel part of the community. The things that he said he loves here in the Philippines. So those are really the two biggest things that I think come about when you ask people the pros and cons, and what really is the deal breaker is the dating and the language barrier. Not so much the cost of living. There's other factors, there's weather differences. Another thing that I asked him about is infrastructure and how much that impacts lifestyle. He said there's no comparing the infrastructure in Thailand. The healthcare is much better in Thailand. So this is going to be a subjective thing. It's going to depend on your priorities, what's more important to you. But for him, dating and interacting with people and the vibe in the Philippines, a lot to do with the language, not having that language barrier, was enough for him to overcome some of the infrastructure setbacks and some of the other issues with the Philippines. He said the pros far outweigh the cons, but I know, of course, there are people that live in Thailand and they don't care about the language. They learn the language, they put the time in. Because I do think that is an impactful thing of enjoying where you live, is if you feel like you're not just an outsider. And then of course with dating, I'm not sure the answer. I'd love to hear some feedback of guys that live in Thailand that feel otherwise about the dating. I've heard guys say that they will go to the Philippines until they meet someone and then they'll move to Thailand or move to somewhere else like Vietnam with their Filipina girlfriend or wife. So there's lots of ways to do it. For me personally, I did say in this video, and I still feel this way, is after this short trip, there wasn't enough for me to just change all my plans of living in the Philippines and just move to Thailand or move to Vietnam. But I loved it. I absolutely loved Thailand for many reasons. Same with Vietnam, and I'm anxious to get back there and explore more. I feel grateful that just living in this part of the world, we have access to all these countries. I want to go to Cambodia, Malaysia. There's so many spots to check out. So wherever you call your home base, enjoy the neighboring countries. It doesn't have to be a competitive thing, whatever works for you. And who knows what the future holds. After I go back to Thailand or Vietnam and I go to Da Nang or I go to a southern island, but I love the Philippines. I'm super happy here. There's a lot of places here I still want to explore. I love the vibe here. The Philippines has been great to me, and there's no reason for me to really think about leaving right now. So I'm just going to keep rolling along and continue to travel and explore, and appreciate you guys joining along on the ride. I'm going to continue to make more videos like this. I'm going to do some interviews with people that have spent time there and continue doing comparison videos. I think it's very interesting. I think it's very helpful for people that are trying to figure out a good fit for them and where they want to put their focus. And videos like that I'll get to, interviewing these people, it's going to help with that. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for many more videos, lots of different topics. I love my job. This is the most fun ever. I'll keep doing the best I can to provide good, balanced, valuable content for you guys. And Merry Christmas once again. Happy New Year, and see you soon. Bye.